2005, the year of low-rise jeans and sidekick flips, a time when your internet was still a dial-up screen, but a little site called YouTube was quietly born. More importantly, this is the year that a lot of One Piece fans started discussing and theorizing about the story online. A couple of weeks ago, I made a video looking at some crazy takes from that time, and many of you wanted a part 2. And well, I like to listen to my viewers, so we're doing this again. By the way, you don't need to watch the first part to enjoy this one. And I have to say sorry in advance for my voice. If you haven't already heard, I'm a bit sick right now. Alright, enough yapping, let's see what we've got. For context, these were all written whilst Water 7 was unfolding. I judge that Crocodile is pretty weak. Anyone agree with me? Maybe not weak, but the way Luffy beat him, I thought it was too easy, compared to how we beat Don Krieg. Plus, he has the most uncool power in Baroque works. I'd even consider Mr. 1 a candidate for Mr. 0. Okay, I have a lot to say about this one, but let's first look at the replies. That's so untrue. Crocodile is probably one of Luffy's toughest opponents. No, it's probably just you. I don't think Croc is weak at all. Instead, I feel that he, like all of the rest of the Logia users, is ridiculously strong. Oh my god, it's Battle Frankie, the goat from the last video. Yeah, Crocodile is so weak. That's why it only took Luffy 3 attempts to actually beat him. Heck, if Croc wasn't so complacent, he'd probably have Luffy dead twice over. Okay, my faith in the 2005 community is restored, for now at least. How could the original poster ever think that the way Luffy beat Crocodile was too easy? He lost 2 times before their final clash, and brutally might I add, especially the first time around. He got impaled by Crocodile's hook. That would probably end the life of any normal person. That first fight really made Crocodile appear to be in a different league than Luffy's previous opponents. So to say that Luffy struggled more against Don Krieg is certainly something. I mean, I guess you could say that it was lame that Crocodile was so easily nerfed by water, but it still didn't make Luffy's victory easy. And what are you on about that his powers are lame? Some Logias are pretty generic, and similar powers can be found in other series. Fire powers is the best example, but being able to control sand is quite original, and the perfect power for a villain trying to take over a desert kingdom. There's no way you think Miss Merry Christmas has a cooler power, so put some respect on Crocoboy. God awful takes. By the way, if you're enjoying the video so far, make sure to hit the like button. If we can hit 600 likes, I will personally buy you 1 Nami body pillow each. Let's look at some other thread. I think Foxy is the dumbest and most pathetic enemy. Okay, my initial thoughts is that Foxy isn't the dumbest villain. I mean, he managed to get quite a crew by cheating and tricking other pirates in the Davy Back fights. Surely that requires some intelligence. Let's see what people responded. Don Krieg wins easily. You can't call it any different than stupidity attacking Mihawk after realizing the skill differences between them. Yeah, there is an argument to be made that Krieg is the dumbest. His self-confidence during the Baratie arc is absurd, especially considering what had just happened to him and his crew. And then for him to go after Mihawk after he knew what he was capable of is beyond stupid. Buggy would be the dumbest enemy. He is a clown anyway. When it comes to Buggy, I think he's both dumb at times, but also smart in some ways. Mainly emotional intelligence. It seems like he manages to gain loyal followers wherever he goes. You can attribute a lot of it to luck, but not everything. He hijacked the Summit War broadcast to spread his infamy, and it worked. But like I said, he seems stupid sometimes. It made no sense for him to get mad at Shanks after he got startled and accidentally swallowed the devil fruit, for example. Pearl is the lamest in my opinion. Okay, someone hold me back. Does anyone know the address of this guy? Because I'm gonna drop a present on his house. Look how sad you made him. Wapol is the dumbest. This I can get behind. He thought exiling all his kingdom's doctors was a genius move to control his people, but it just made everyone hate him and left the nation weak. When a real threat like the Blackbeard pirates showed up, he immediately fled, proving he was a coward who couldn't even defend his own home. The cherry on top is that his only success came from a complete accident. He literally became rich by eating garbage. Wapol is the perfect example of someone too stupid to even be a proper villain. So after going through some candidates, I would say that Wapol is probably the dumbest of these villains. Man, just look at him. I think Shanks Bounty is 500 million. What do you think? Wow, bounty predictions, that's exciting. This guy didn't explain his reasoning, but I found this reply. That's actually a good question, seeing as how a bounty reflects their danger to the world government, instead of just their strength. Take that power level. From high threat people, Dory and Broggy being 100 million as the respective leaders of the race, at least double Crocodile's bounty if it was still active, and Luffy getting 100 million for defeating one of the 7. If Shanks was important enough for the 5 Elder Stars to be talking about him in a meeting, yeah, 500 million does seem like a good estimate. Wow, all that writing to arrive at the same idea. Well, at least you laid out your reasoning. A lot of others in the replies pretty much agreed that 500 was a good prediction, and those who disagreed still placed him between 300 and 700 million. I didn't see a single reply suggesting anything over a billion, and I get it. It's not crazy to assume the Shanks was seen as 5 times the threat that Luffy was at this time. The concept of Yonkos hadn't been established, so many people just saw Shanks as a powerful pirate, but maybe not as one of the greatest in the whole world. Like this guy. I just don't get why people play Shanks as some kind of god character. It almost pisses me off. It's so baffling. I'm sorry to tell you, but he did turn out to be kind of a god character. It's just funny to look at this in retrospect, when Usopp is worth 500 million right now. The bounty inflation is real. It was not long ago we were blown away by Yak's 1 billion berry bounty. A while ago I told you my dog became a pirate. For anyone new, her name is Nova, and her bounty started at just 1 berry. Every single subscriber raises it by 1. Last time she was sitting at 196 berries. Thanks to you guys, her bounty is now at 333 berries. Cool, angel number. Subscribe to raise your bounty even higher. I think that the One Piece can't be a bunch of gold coins or shiny jewels in a treasure chest. I think it is something even greater than that. Ooh, this should be interesting. It's a legend. It's probably not even real. If you go all around the world, you'd have to control a lot of stuff and have to have beaten a lot of people. And by then, you'd rule the world. Therefore, One Piece was just a legend that Gold Roger made up to make people try to become the king of the pirates. Okay, I've heard a lot of less conventional One Piece treasure theories over the years. It's friendship, it's the journey, etc. But this one, saying Roger straight up made up the One Piece as a social experiment to keep piracy alive, I've never heard that before. I respect the creativity. The idea that Roger just woke up one day and said, "Nah, I'm bored, let me gaslight the whole planet." Could you imagine the outrage if it was revealed that the One Piece simply didn't exist? This next one is outrageous. Maybe it's dimensional key that opens into many dimensions, full with treasure and more. For example, one dimension could be filled with all gold, another dimension could be filled with all diamonds, emeralds and rubies, plus a dimension where all that you dream of becomes reality, or a dimension where people and humanoid animals live in peace while growing devil fruit trees, which they call god fruit trees, and the people worship the person who carries One Piece. Bro, this theory sounds like you took every idea you had during a night on psychedelics and just dumped it in a blender. A dimension full of gold. A dimension of dreams. This sounds like a description of Minecraft creative mode after taking the wrong gummy. Oda has some crazy ideas sometimes, but not multi-dimensional treasure orchard where the protagonist gets worshipped crazy. Whatever you were smoking, I hope it at least was premium, because this take definitely wasn't. What do you think will happen after Water 7? They're likely to run into another of the warlords, particularly Doflamingo. Yeah, you only had to wait 8 years for that. I think the next arc will be Blackbeard Pirates vs Straw Hat Pirates, as Blackbeard is still aiming for Luffy, and if he gets a higher bounty after Water 7, it will be even more interesting for Teach to catch Luffy if he wants to be a warlord. It would also be the first time that a strong pirate wanna fight Luffy in a real pirate fight. This is not even a bad prediction, it's just way too early. This person thought we were about to jump straight into Luffy vs Blackbeard right after Water 7, but as it turned out, it would take hundreds upon hundreds of more chapters to get there. Fans back then had no idea just how long and deep this story was going to run, because here we are, decades later, entire civilizations created, 2 Yonkos defeated, Gear 5 awakened, and Luffy has still never actually fought Blackbeard. I may be looking into this, but when Ace was on Buggy's ship, or in his hideout, they began to talk about Whitebeard, and Ace said, "So you know our old man?" I may be looking into that, but I think Whitebeard is Ace and Luffy's father. Yeah, this is a reach even for its time, but I still respect looking for small details like that. Back then, we didn't know Dragon was Luffy's dad or that Ace was Roger's son, so the family tree was a complete mystery, and people were just trying to connect anything. Imagine if it turned out Whitebeard was their father and his real name was Edward D. Newgate. that you sound so forced. As we were later made aware, the old man thing was always crew loyalty, not blood. That's all the takes my voice can handle today. Make sure to comment which ones you agree and disagree with down below. And by the way, YouTube thinks this video is perfect for you, so give it a chance, why don't you?